Folks, welcome to Playing in Traffic. Today's short episode is, wow, things have changed. I'm in the Villas, New Jersey. I think I started coming to the Villas in the early 70s. Yeah, I'm that age. But I just want you to see the following. This is not going to be a long episode. I just want you to see the following. So I'm passing Hudson Ave. Hi. Okay. Passing Hudson. I'm on Millman Lane. By the way, this is an absolutely great road to just relax, have a walk, have a bike ride, all that stuff that you've seen me talk about in the past at other locations. This is one of them too. Just you can really chill on this road. It's not a lot of traffic, and if there is traffic, it's a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, and it's really some really nice sights. Again, you got like between residential, the landscaping that the residents have in their homes. You do have to, sometimes you got the dune or residences on this house that block your view of the beach. That's different than it is in Town Bank. But all that being said, very relaxing ride. And I want to show you this. I got to spin around now. So when I was a kid, I spent my summers down here. My mom was like, yeah, you're not going to be in Philly for the summer. And that was a good choice for her because I was, I was what I was. Okay. So I stayed in the summer at Atlantic Avenue right here, passing it. Now, it used to be that off to my right here, there was an old house right there. Okay, and then this was all a parking lot. All of this was a parking lot right over my right shoulder. And so it was a parking lot for what was catty corner right here at this intersection of Delaware Parkway and Millman Lane. Was and it gets every single word of this, the one and only LAYRE'S Dutch Kitchen. There is a handful. Ugh. These knees are not doing well. There's a handful of pictures of LAYRE'S Dutch Kitchen on the internet. I'm going to put them, spread them around on this video here. But watch this. So without giving everybody's personal, you see, it's all residential. Okay. What it used to be was LAYRE'S, and you could sit. It was a big restaurant, and so in between basically this path here, oh, look at all the birds feeding away on them horseshoe crabs, the eggs that they've been spawning. But anyway, yeah, in between this trail here to the path and the one down there, the restaurant just ran the length of this area. And this was an open grass area right here in front of these homes. I really do want to protect their privacy. So there was like grass there, and then there was the bulkhead, and I'm going to show you what a bulkhead is, because that's kind of a thing of the past. When I was a kid, there was these trails, these paths to the beach did not exist. This did not exist. What was here was, and I can show you because I did see one around the corner. What was here was was this right there. See it? The bulkhead. And that bulkhead is going to create a whole nother chapter in this video, because you would come up to this and then there would be a path. I don't know if this one's path was, so you could see the bulkhead runs all the way through. So they put these steps over top of it. But the bulkhead would run pretty much from street to street, but would have an opening on a right-hand side or a left-hand side that people could walk to the beach with. But anyway, LAYRE'S was right here. This was like, where do you see this sand right here? That was all grass. and that went for, I don't know, from one street to the next. This is Delaware Parkway, this street right here. And Layers, you would eat, you'd have a bay view, sunset. Are you kidding? Like, seriously, why is that not, why is something not here? My God, why? Because this was your view while you had your meal. And Layers ran, I don't know how long, a street or two. I'm gonna research it. But just interesting stuff. And it's very well, I love the way this street's been kept. But this, I kind of remember, you know, as we come out of here. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I told you this. So this bulkhead that you see here with no, you know, it's basically flat after that. Back in the 70s, and I'm going to say up until the early 80s, early to mid 80s, maybe even later, would have 6 foot drop. So you would, I've done this in other videos, I just think this is a fun thing to repeat. Like a 6 foot drop, you would come up to that bulkhead, you could stand right here at the top of the bulkhead and look down, and instead of it being a, from my face to, from my nose to this surface right here is about 5 feet, whatever, 6 feet. It was 6 to 8 feet further down. Now that isn't some interesting science. I don't know what is, because look, this is all a dune. This was not a dune back then. The dune, the actual thing that operated as a dune, was that bulkhead right there. But anyway, yeah, like, you know, as we wander down Delaware Parkway right here, off to the left here was parking lot, was additional parking. The restaurant, I'm just going to say, like, you could park like a row of cars. Over here was all parking, catty corner. That's residential now. And then where I'm riding right now, this was all LAYRE'S Dutch Kitchen. I don't know if it went past Pacific. I'm gonna see about it. I'm gonna try to get that information. I don't know if it went past Pacific Avenue, like you see right there. But like, this was, just say it was this whole parcel of land right here in between Delaware Parkway and Pacific Avenue on Millman Lane. I think it may have extended a little further than that. I'm going to see what I can find out about that. But it makes me also wonder, like what you're seeing here. See the grass? That was the grass that was there. It could be. I'm not sure. The bulkhead here is not as visible. But yeah, but these pylons are, so I'm thinking that maybe that is it. I don't know. But yeah, it was all right there. Oh, 2 funny stories. So there was many cool just memories, like thoughts of like my parents going to the restaurant periodically. They'd have family would come in. It wasn't exactly the I can't even say, because I never was in there. I never paid or anything for it, so I really don't know what the price of this stuff was. My dad would have a lot of money, so I didn't see them go often. A family member used to come into town, and they would be like, "Oh, Uncle Steve or something's in town. He's taking everybody to Layres." It was like, "Oh, good for you." You know, like, you know, I was a kid. Jeez, I was like 8 years old. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere around there. But anyway, this, like I said, this area right here used to be all a parking lot, except for the one house I learned over the years was kept there. That's still there. It's probably got a little more reinforced than it was originally. That house was for the cook. So whoever got hired to be the cook / chef at Layres then would get, you know, would have a place to live all summer. So that was one of the perks to taking a job. Okay, so what we used to do, that was my grandmother's house, used to be right there. Would walk around this corner, watch this. Somewhere within this is why my parents used to send me down here, because I don't know what I was a hustler. I was a good worker, I was a hustler, but then I also had a mischievous side. And back then, this was all parking lot, so we would come over with our like a beach chair and sit in the parking lot. And when people parked their cars, we would basically say, do you want your car watched? We'll watch your car while you go eat. And it might make a quarter or something, 50 cents, something like that. And we might have sat there for another 5 minutes and just went on to some other goofy stuff and just ran away with the money. You know, real classy. Now, that was nowhere near as classy as the following that I'm going to show you. So, off season, the restaurant wasn't open off season. That was seasonal. So we were, had our Huffy bikes. Ooh, find a picture of a Huffy bike and put it in the video. Okay, thank you. So one time we put a ramp. I'll tell you what, I bet you wasn't that far from this location right here. We put a ramp right around here somewhere, up on that bulkhead, and we were jumping and landing on the beach. Remember what I was telling you? Beyond this bulkhead, it's really hard to imagine, but it's the truth. Beyond the wood on that bulkhead, there was a 6-foot drop, 6 to 8 feet drop, easy, 6 to 8. Well, the ramp, we'd go on the ramp. This one might have been a little higher. It might have been maybe 4-foot drop, 4 or 5. And we would go off that, boing, and land in the sand. But of course, I wasn't steady enough with the bike, and I made it up about halfway up the ramp, wiggled off, the front tire wiggled off, smacked into the wood right here, and then I went head over heels onto the beach. Ooh, look at that. So the birds must have heard me say it. Good shot. But yeah, I went flying right onto the beach. Thank God I didn't break anything, but that was pretty good stuff for a long time. Just the memory of that, especially we were cousins. Yeah, I've done videos before about Layers. It just, oh my God, Layres Dutch Kitchen. The look of it was just amazing. I remember buses coming in here, and like people it would be a part of a trip that they would take down the shore. I don't know from where. Who knows? New York, Philly, who knows? And they would just go to, do whatever they were going to do. This was part of the trip. You got lunch or dinner at Layres Dutch Kitchen. Epic, like epic. It's not. Yeah, obviously. The only thing that bothers me is that, like, I can almost get things don't stay. We get that. Well aware of it. But one of the things I really wish is that they just would have put something there for that. Like this place right here, we're passing right here. It'll be on my right shoulder. Is the Village Fishing Club. That's always been here. It's also a members only. It's not like you just walk in there, and I don't know what their story is now. In the past, it was like it was a member. You had to be a member to be in there. Blah blah blah. That kind of thing. I'm gonna leave it at that. So it wasn't like a restaurant like Harpoons in Town Bank. It was just a members place, and it's just not the same. Layres was just from everything I heard, it was really good restaurant. So I just wanted to share that with you. The bulkhead thing will never stop being an absolute phenomenon. When I tell anybody that all these beaches used to be protected by bulkheads that are now slightly visible from the street side. If you go on the beach side, you're probably not seeing any of them. And man, oh man, and now we used to, if we were too lazy to go to the end of the bulkhead to get up to the street, every street did not have a bulkhead, and you couldn't get on the beach at every street. It's kind of just a little scatterbrainish right now with me with that. What are you doing? And it's a little scatterbrain. These people, it's like, dude, it's no one's asking you. I wish these people weren't drinking all day and then come out and drive at night and kind of like, anyway. What was he saying? Jesus, I get sidetracked. Yeah, I don't think every street had its own entrance to the beach like they do now. I don't remember all that. I remember the bulkhead stretching for at points like a long way. And you either went up at the one street or you had to wait another 2 streets to get up on the beach, to get up on the street, vice versa. I was one of my grandmothers, I was Atlantic. The next street, I think it was Bates. There was one on Bates. Yeah, it's weird how it was set up. But a lot of times we'd climb it. We would just climb the bulkhead. Well, the bulkhead was, I'm telling you, it was like up to 6 feet at least. Anyway, okay, I think I said it enough over the past 2.5 hours of doing videos. Bulkhead, 6 feet. Everybody gets it. They already know. But, all right, folks, thanks for watching. Have a great day, pleasant tomorrow. I'm going to find as many pictures and info about layers as I can and put it in this video. You have a great day, pleasant tomorrow. I'll see you next episode.